Walls don't keep you safe, they keep you inside. In Attack on Titan, humanity survives within towering barriers, hiding from mindless giants that exist for one purpose: to eat people alive. It's a brutal world, and the Titans are only the beginning. Inside the walls, society is fractured. The elite live in comfort while the rest scrape by. Soldiers are sent to die on hopeless missions. Corruption festers. Fear rules. And no one really knows where the Titans came from or what they truly are. Here, humanity isn't the victim, it's the villain. The Titans are the result of ancient sins, of wars long buried and hatred passed down. The cycle of violence is endless. Every victory is Pyrrhic. Every revelation is soul-crushing. You think you're rooting for the heroes until you realize there are none. Just people caught in a nightmare they helped create, clinging to survival. The lines between right and wrong blur into bloodstains. In the end, even freedom has a body count, and no one escapes the cost. Welcome to a world where gods lie, fire dies, and immortality is a curse. Dark Souls is a game series, which isn't just about winning, it's about enduring endlessly. Long ago, the first flame appeared, splitting the world into light and dark, life and death. The gods seized its power, cast down the dragons, and ruled over a golden age. But fire fades, and when it does, so does everything they built. To stop the inevitable, Lord Gwyn burned himself to rekindle the flame. Was it a noble move? Maybe. But all it did was trap the world in an endless loop of decay and desperation. The player is undead, carrying the dark sign, a brand that ensures you'll rise again, and again. But each time, you lose a little more of yourself, until you're hollow, a shell, a walking corpse with no memory and no purpose. In the end, you face a cruel choice: sacrifice yourself to keep the dying world limping forward, or let it all end and fall into darkness. But even if you choose oblivion, someone else always comes along to light the fire again. The tragedy of Dark Souls isn't death, it's never being allowed to die. In the grim darkness of the far future, there's only war. No, seriously, Warhammer 40k takes dystopia to a level so brutal, it spawned its own genre, grimdark. 40,000 years from now, humanity has discovered the stars and turned itself into the worst version imaginable. Ruled by a corpse on a throne, the Imperium of Man is a fascist nightmare powered by fear, faith, and fire. But they're the good guys. So who are the enemies? The machines that want to erase all life. Space elves who partied so hard they gave birth to a chaos god. Tyranids who eat planets for breakfast. And chaos itself? Four gods of madness, plague, blood, and depravity who wage eternal war against reality. Every planet is a battlefield. Every hero is a tyrant. Every hope is already crushed. In this universe, there are no happy endings, only prolonged endings. And the only real winners are the ones who die before they realize how bad things truly are. In most horror stories, there's a villain, a climax, a moment where good stands up to evil. Not here. The Cthulhu Mythos isn't about the monster under your bed. It's about the realization that the universe never cared if you had a bed at all. Lovecraft's universe is one where knowledge is poison, and understanding is the fastest way to insanity. At the heart of it are the great old ones, cosmic titans so vast and alien that even glimpsing them cracks the human mind. Cthulhu lies dreaming beneath the sea, and if he wakes, reality ends. Not with a bang, but with a shrug. Azathoth, the blind idiot god, dreams the universe into being. If he ever stops, oblivion. Nyarlathotep walks among us, a smiling chaos, spreading madness like a plague. And Yog-Sothoth, he sees everything, yet cares for nothing. There are no chosen ones here, no heroes to save the day. The only choice you're given is whether you'll go mad from what you know, or die never understanding why. Free will is a lie. History is a lie. Even death is a lie. In The Second Apocalypse by R. Scott Baker, the world isn't just dark, it's cursed. The Inkaroi, ancient alien beings, discovered a terrifying truth: the afterlife exists, and damnation is guaranteed. So, they built a plan, not to earn salvation, but to destroy it. They forged the No God, a weapon designed to erase life itself, and when it awakens, births stop. Humanity doesn't burn, it simply ceases. But the Inkaroi aren't alone. The Dunyan, human monks of reason, reject faith and emotion. To them, everything, love, belief, even identity, is manipulation. Kellis, their greatest mind, becomes a prophet king. He doesn't save the world, he bends it. Faith, war, destiny, all become tools in his machine of control. In this world, gods exist, but they do not save. Heroes rise, but they do not triumph. The only thing stronger than darkness is delusion. Imagine a world where fairy tales aren't bedtime stories. They're survival guides soaked in blood. In the Witcher universe, monsters aren't metaphors. They're real. They have claws, fangs, curses, and hunger. Magic doesn't sparkle. It burns, twists, and corrupts. And unless you've been mutating since childhood and swinging a silver blade at nightmares, you're likely to die screaming in the dark. This isn't a land where the supernatural crept in. It smashed through during the conjunction of the spheres, an ancient cataclysm that fused dimensions and flooded the world with horrors it was never meant to hold. Vampires stalk moonlit forests. Wraiths wail through fog. Chimeras tear through walls like paper. But here's the truth. You're not Geralt. You're not Yennefer. You're the terrified farmer whose livestock was just slaughtered. You don't get potions or spells. You get superstition, a rusted pitchfork, and maybe a prayer. The nobles play war like a game. The church sets heretics on fire, and whole villages vanish overnight, consumed by forces no one dares name. And even the Witchers, those scarred, soulless killers bred for monster slaying, they're not celebrated. They're feared, hated, not because they're evil, because they remind everyone how broken this world really is. In a place this cruel, hope feels dangerous. And Witchers, they're not heroes, they're warnings. You might be wondering how The Simpsons ended up on this list of terrifying dark endings. Well, brace yourself. It's darker than you'd think. Springfield is a comedy, sure, but it's also a reality-breaking prison with one of the darkest setups in fiction. Time never moves. Consequences vanish. Characters live, die, and return with no explanation. Except for Maud Flanders, she stays dead. Homer Simpson, the lovable fool, breaks every law of physics, logic, and probability, and no one notices. He becomes an astronaut, a rock star, a car designer, and resets every week. Why? Because the world demands it. And then there's Frank Grimes, the man governed by real-world rules. He works hard, plays by the book, and dies trying to understand how Homer survives. His death? A punchline. His funeral? A joke. And Springfield moves on. That's the horror, the unrelenting, soul-sapping loop where nothing truly matters. The Simpsons hasn't just outlived its golden age, it's trapped in it. The world ends not with fire, but fallout. In Metro 2033, nuclear war scorched the surface of the Earth, leaving behind a wasteland of radiation, mutants, and silence. The survivors? They live underground in the Moscow metro, twisting tunnels of darkness, danger, and desperation. But life down here isn't shelter. It's a different kind of apocalypse. The stations become fractured city-states. The Red Line wages class war. The Fourth Reich spreads fascism like a virus. And everyone else fights over food, bullets, and fragile ideals. Trust is rare. Hope is rarer. Outside the safe zones, the tunnels whisper horrors. And worse, ghosts, anomalies, echoes of a dead world. Artyom, our unlikely protagonist, sets off on a journey not for glory, but to prevent another war. This time, one the underground may not survive. He confronts the Dark Ones, mysterious beings with powers beyond human comprehension, feared and misunderstood. But what threatens humanity most isn't outside, it's within. Fear, hatred, ignorance. In the Metro, monsters aren't always the ones with claws. Sometimes they wear uniforms. Sometimes they look just like us.